Welcome back to Factorio MSX Gigabase, where last time we realized we had made a bit of a screw up in regards to setting up this side stacker, where we basically it's because we did a mirror symmetry rather than rotational symmetry. So I basically need to rip out all of this part here. It's only this part. Well, this actually, how many of these have we, okay, that's going to be fun. We need to rip out this slot and all of this, and basically make a copy of this slot and just rotate it around 360 degrees. It should line up with these ends, and we should be able to just slap it on the back, but this bit here obviously is going to probably come down here, so that's going to be a bit of a pain. So we're going to have to basically run down there, and I want to clear this area of trains. I suppose I don't know what I suppose. There's a lot of them, aren't there? Oh well. I was going to do this actually off camera, but we're doing it on camera now. I might speed up some of it because it could be a tad annoying. Otherwise, good, not a nuclear missile. Let's jump into U, go to manual. So while we're doing this, we can talk about a few other things, I guess. First of all, you'll notice that we're at 271. In fact, we are almost halfway through mining productivity 271, which means that we're not very far away from our goal, I guess, of mining productivity 275. The reason that was set as our goal, of course, was that that enables us to create outposts using, as long as we use speed modules, that have a ratio of 10 miners per ore train per minute that we want to serve in those mines. So that's kind of a convenient number to use, so that our mining operations can be made very bot and UPS efficient, which is part of the reason we're doing this well. It may not seem like it's doing well, but given the 6,000 science that we're doing sort of per minute, it is pretty good. So the thing clearly stands out is that it's not going to take us that long to get to 271, and there are actually a number of things I want to do first, because before we move on to fully returning to our SpaceX objectives, and that is I want to establish, well, a consistent 6,000 vanilla science per minute first of all, and the steel stack should get us either fully there or very close to it in terms of raw production. Now there are a couple of other things that we're going to want to address once we are somewhat in place there. In particular, purple science, the furnaces for purple science are currently something that, whoops, it's not where I wanted to go. Not that it matters that much, we could go down there. It's perfectly adequate storage, but I think I would rather just go down this path. Yeah, the purple science, it's not just a function of not always receiving the steel in time. we actually need to do some adjustments. It needs a separate well, let's just quickly look at Purple Science. You see it needs electric furnace and electric engine unit. The electric engine unit is fine, but the electric furnace, the amount of steel in particular that it uses, and also even the stone brick, there's issues around the sheer quantity of resources it needs that I think I didn't fully take into account in terms of, well, especially unloading steel. So at the moment we have a shared steel and red circuit unloading platform, which if everything worked perfectly would probably be fine, but things don't work perfectly. The use of resources is uneven, favouring the ones closest to the locomotives, and the ones in the middle tend to get full and slow down the overall the unloading of trains, because they get congested. So the trains then have to wait while only a couple of unloaders are working on the middle carriages. So that then delays, say for example a red circuit train is unloading and there's just a couple of hundred more to go, and they're just in the middle section, that stops the steel train coming through. So when I was calculating on the optimal basis for trains to enter the mine, you get to a point where the numbers work on paper, but the mechanical practice, it doesn't work. So we actually need a separate platform. So I'm going to have to do that after we sort out this one, and then I think we're going to find the issue is going to be lumbered onto iron. When iron is being used consistently for the 6,000 level demand, it is, I think it's going to struggle, because it's already constantly I mean, what do we have requested? Well, there's iron for starters, so steel, and these are steel looking for iron as well. So yeah, we'll have to implement our pre-stacking system for the iron stack, starting with iron stack 1 probably. I was going to do it on copper first because I think I've got more room with copper, but the iron is more of a priority, so that is something we're going to have to do. And then our best bet for trying to deal with this UPS is, as I'm sure I've mentioned some episodes back, revamping oil once again to get a full surround beacon system in operation, as that will save about 40% of the entities involved with the oil, and given that oil is probably the least efficient of Factorio out of the box mechanisms due to all of the fluid mechanics, that could save us a significant amount of UPS, possibly shooting us back over 40, which would be great, because that's kind of where we need to be. So doing all those things, we're going to get past the 275 basically for sure. So I'm probably going to run out of room to do this, but what I'm now going to do is rip out all of this stuff up to just about here, say. Probably exhaust the bots pretty quickly as well. yeah, so we'll get to the 275. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around quite a lot. We'll get to the 275 pretty quickly, and at that point, it's not quite far enough over. At that point, what do we do next? Do I re-implement the mod for bot carry capacity? I may well do that, but I would like to try and get a uncontaminated vanilla science reading, just so I know where things actually are at with my designs and with the current state of Factorio on the latest patch of version 16. Although admittedly we are kind of cheating slightly with the oil anyway, with the barrel mod that we have installed in place. Not that I use the barrels, but it does affect the capacity of the cargo wagons, so it would be interesting to see how much difference it would make. Well, I guess I'd need sort of what was the multiplier that they changed it by? I think it's 3 times, isn't it? So I'd basically need 3 times as many oil wagons on the network if I didn't have that. Seems a bit excessive. How are we going here? As expected, we are running out of space. Alright. Let's go over. Well, I mean, we're going to have to go over to the other side anyway. Let's go over to the other side. Dump some of these guys down. I don't want to pick up any more of those just at the moment. Let's run through the middle and hopefully we won't get interfered with by the local bots. I mean, they're basically buffering up a little bit of steel for the onslaught that they're about to face, so that's kind of fine. Fine that they continue with it. You're getting rid of my rubbish, that's fine. Let's come over here, I'll unload the extras of that. I don't need these guys on me at the moment. Don't need any of that. That should be fine. Now, what we do need is a blueprint of all of this mechanism. I can't see it all by radar, unfortunately. If I put a radar here, it might work. Or if I just, oh, hang on, here's all the stuff. Let's just wait for our bots, give them a bit of a speed up. That's all of them. Right. Let's head up here. So I basically want to about this point Get out of the way. I don't want to risk jumping through the track while it's there. But I want to run up from about this point and then use map view to get a blueprint. There we go, that should do. Now I want a blueprint that basically goes down and covers all of that. So let's, I should probably clear one or other of these things. What's that? For now we can clear, I was probably keeping it for a reason, never mind. I'm not anymore. So, oh no, I don't need all the way to the end. I only need to about there, I think. Let's just see, does that, no, that doesn't cover all of that. I need to get to about there. Alright, that's the section I want. This one here. Let's, now, yeah, this one, instead of reflecting it using these tools, what I want to do is rotate, rotate. And the other thing that I want to do is get rid of this part, because we don't actually want this part. But at this level, it's actually fairly hard to do that, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. I will probably just paste it down and then immediately delete that part. It's probably the easiest thing to do. Oops. So we're getting reasonable, well, I mean, given that it had dropped to like 30, we're getting okay UPS at the moment, which is quite nice to see. Now I think and hope that this section will just fit on the end here just fine. If it doesn't, I'll have to get rid of this platform as well. I'll see in a moment. Let's use our old friend InfiniZoom and just see how this ties in. As expected, we're going to overlap some of this area. Okay, so it looks like okay, well, first of all, let's get back out of InfiniZoom. Run over here and get this out of the way. As expected, it's in the way, and I'd rather it's not in the way beforehand. Yeah, we'll just go to about there for now. We definitely have room to fit all this stuff now that we've cleared it all out. There is a possibility that we will need some more landfill though, which I hadn't banked on, but never mind, let's get this right. I don't really care about the trees up there so much, so I might just stay out of their range for the moment. And that's that. Now, if we're somewhere in the middle, which would be around about here, with an appropriately far out zoom, we should be able to see all 6 entrances. We should be able to place this accordingly. Something like that. Just want to make sure that there's enough room for a 383. I think that will do it. And the one that we're doing right now is the bit that I don't want. So let's just clear that out. Get out of InfiniZoom. We probably don't even need this connection since we're not going to have a fuel just there. In fact, probably is it definitely, so we can get rid of that. I wonder if... No, these trains don't really need a four-way exit, in truth. The ore trains are going to be coming in at sort of 4 times the rate of these trains, so these trains really can manage with a lot less. Oh, come on, guys. So I guess what I will do is remove that. They can basically immediately crunch down to 2 lanes. And then we can basically immediately go into the corner. And yeah, we are going to want that landfill that I cleverly discarded. I don't think it's going to be enough landfill, but what we're looking at is coming from there, up here, and up around there. What I might do is make a cut and just finish up this bit and probably paste out the rest of this so that we're basically done, because otherwise it's going to take too long and I want to do something else this episode as well. So see you shortly. And we're back with hopefully everything flowing the way it needs to. More science needs to be done, so let's do 272. I was able to manage with just the... I'm going to have to move this guy. In fact, I'll do that now. I brought this overhead just in case I was going to need it, but as it turned out, I didn't. Let's just get rid of that. That will get the landfill train out of the way, so it won't be in the way of our steel trains. And for now, I am going to call this a wrap and leave the steel. We should have a fairly massive steel production right now, 55,000. So we're not currently doing 6,000 a minute, but we have alluded to other issues there. So let's go now down to the last one that I think is causing us potential grief, which is this one. This is what I was referring to before. There's 2 problems. One, we're not getting the stone bricks in there fast enough. They're being made faster than they're able to be loaded on here. Have this come up here, unload and come back. So we need to attend to that. The only problem with this one is there is not a lot of convenient stops. There is hashtag science, so I guess we could go there or here. I guess we'll go to hashtag science. That is as good as any. I will I guess what I need to do is actually get rid of some of the stuff that I'm not going to need, possibly. But anyway, I'll rejoin you when I'm in a position to start attending to that facility, because otherwise we won't have enough time to do anything useful with it. So see you soon. And back. So I probably spent slightly longer on that earlier problem than I really wanted to, because this is the more interesting problem, and I want to spend a little bit longer on it. So this is what I was talking about before with steel. It's actually a steel train at this point, but it's unloading, and there's only a few inserters slowly unloading this last 400. That sort of unload speed doesn't keep up with the demand. Now the unload here is probably okay for the stone brick, but only okay. And over here though, we only have 2 inserters, which doesn't work out as being okay. These trains are more or less being unloaded constantly, which sort of makes up for the fact that we need, well, it's not quite 2 because of the productivity, but in any event, what I want to do is basically remove a roboport per carriage, and then we'll add additional loading capability in the gaps that we have created. And I'm not actually concerned too much. How much have we got in there? We're okay. I probably want to lower that to just 1,000 now. Stone bricks, we'll go to 1,000. And those 2 as well. Here as well. We're going to get 3 there. That should be fine. So many bots flying around, I can't see what's going on. So there's a couple of carriages that will only have 5 loaders. I think it will work. Just allows a little bit longer for the unload mechanic to work. Now, part of why I did that is because I noticed that these ones over here are not really being used at all, so they should get used a bit more now. We might actually need more bots now though, more logi bots. And over here what we need to do is actually move this whole mechanism back enough to fit in another rail pathway here, so that we can separate out the steel and the red circuits into separate lanes. So oh, it doesn't like that, does it? I don't think I've got room for another one of these. I could check that though. Let's quickly get rid of a blueprint that we don't need for the moment, that one probably, and create a blueprint of that. If I do some editing, I might be able to make it work. We're going to lose some signals here that we were kind of relying on. Is it just that one? Yes, it is actually, but that's kind of going to invalidate some of these others, isn't it? See if there's anywhere else I can put any of these other ones. It's not working anymore, never mind. That wasn't the bit that I wanted to take off, it was the signal. Probably need one here. Flashing, so it's useless. Alright. A slightly less efficient actual set of signals there, but that does give us the ability to, well, we need to basically, what have we got, 500 and we're only ordering 200 of those. So I need to zero out all of these request boxes just to cut down on the amount of resources that I'm going to have to move. At least they're not too extreme, they're not full boxes or anything like that. And yes, of course, I could have just copied the turned the first one into a blueprint. Probably would have saved me a minute or two, but whatever. So that's to run it down. Now I'm going to don't need that one anymore. We'll make a copy of all this part, because we're going to just move that straight backwards. And actually, let's change the symbol to that, so we know that's the one that we want. And we probably may as well just pick up the whole lot right now and do that. Going to overload me fairly quickly, isn't it? we get that first, and then we want it directly opposite those ones. I think that's where we want it. Let's just make sure. Yep, that's perfect. I do have another train stop. Good. U will be, what is this one called? It's called eFurnace component U. This will be eFurnace steel U for unload. Now all these things are just out of range, but we will be able to get them back in range because we can do that. I see what the problem is. We need to move this one more length along. Where did it go? There it is. eFurnace steel U. Now they'll line up properly. So we will use, I guess, 5 unloaders. Oops. By unloaders, of course, I mean stack inserters into passive providers. We got 6 there, did we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Interesting. Shouldn't have worked. Now, the final bit is simply to change this P here. Which one is P? That one is P, and it orders from S. If we rip that out and rip that out, this one is no longer working properly, so we need to do that. Now we will need a, can we make these? Good. A train counter, a train publisher, we already had them. So there's a counter, there's a publisher, I'm not quite sure why I have a stockpile of those, and 2 arithmetic accumulators. Read from here to here, it's not reaching to there, and also from the station to there. Station is read the stop train, no, read train contents, and what is the equation that we use? Divided by 32,000. Okay, that can be steel I might, yeah, 32,000 is probably fine. It probably needs to be minus 32,000 though. Output steel, and this can be 1 plus steel, output P, and this one. So that one goes to there, this one goes to there, to there. That one is trains on the way is less than P, then order via S. And it has ordered, and we've got a train on the way. So that's my fix for the production of the steel furnaces. Hopefully that will see a nice increase. These guys, I killed all of their I killed all of the requester boxes before I replanted it, so we basically need to make a copy of this guy, spin it round, and we will just stamp this over the top, and that should re-enable all the requester boxes. Get our production of steel furnaces back to where they're supposed to be. And there you have it. That's all she wrote. Let's see if they are in fact where they need to be. They need to be at 3,000 3,000 divided by 1.4, I think it is. So they need to be about 2,100. We're at 2,100. I'm going to guess that's what we need. So there you have it. That's all we've got time for this time. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye bye for now.